Soon, soon, soon. An error occurred. Waiting a moment and try again. Oh, okay. Go live. Good. You are live. Yes. Okay. We're just getting set up here. Looks like everything is going except for the Facebook group. Go live. Go live. Oh, looks like this broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, we're not in the group, but we're on. We are multi-streaming, RT. We are live now. We are on our Healing Touch Vinyasa page on Facebook, and we are also on YouTube and Periscope. So I'm so happy to have you here. And we are talking about everything related to the mudra, right? The hands, our hands, and a mudra, and also really wanting to delve deep into those nadis, the 72,000 lines in our body, because I have a feeling that most of us are not really understanding how the mudra and the nadis interplay with each other. So I'm curious about that. And I know, Arati, you are so well versed in yoga philosophy and the traditional aspects of yoga philosophy. So that's why you're here, because I want to meld some of the work that I'm doing, which is the modernized techniques that help soothe and eliminate resistance and stress in the body, with our traditions, our 1,000-year-old traditions. So that's why you're here, because you are my expert. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's very big.
That's it. So yes, where would you like to start? Or maybe first just share a little bit about your history and how much you've been involved with this yoga world and life,
Okay. So my name is Arati Lane, as you can read here, and I have been practicing yoga probably like coming up to, 30 plus years. Let me think. I'm like, how old is this body? Da, 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 da. Probably more like 34, 35 years of practice and 25 plus years of teaching. And I found yoga actually on a Vipassana retreat. Did you know that? I was thinking that I was interested in Buddhism, but after that Vipassana retreat, those are silent retreats where you sit, it was killing me. It showed me that that's the opposite of what I can do. And there was like the person also showing some asanas at 4. You had to get up at 4 a.m. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And that was it. And I felt when I did the very first time, like in south of Thailand, sunrise, I felt like I remembered all of it. And much later, my gurus would tell that people who are taking on yoga in this life more than likely have done it before in other lives. So that's one of the very differing principles of the yoga philosophy, or Eastern philosophy to Western. Western is like from here to there, just this life, look good, push hard, and then that's it. But this tradition is very much so inclined with that deep belief, like we build up many lives to get to this birth, to this very life. So that's not just the body, but that's also my prana, my energy, my love, my karma, my nadis,
Yeah.
and my inclinations. So where is this life pulling me? And it strongly pulls me towards yoga. Even I had a couple of times where it's that like, okay, God, I want to hang it on the nail because I don't know. And it did not work. It's impossible. So I practice and I teach. So I also do Ayurveda. And my first training was with Jivamukti Yoga. It's very athletic. They have it from their teachers, Pattabhi's Joyce, and in Mysore, South India, where I also trained a little bit with Pattabhi's Joyce Ashtanga. It's very hard on the body, and it wore me very hard. But they're really into vegetarianism, into chanting, into mantra, into yantra, into mudra. So I started on that path, and then I became a Shivananda yoga teacher, which is very traditional. They're international, and that's the ashram, swami, guru, disciple type of relationship. So, and that's where I got my spiritual name in 1989, also Arati,
Yeah.
which means worship, offering the light, worship. So anyway, so that's a lot about me. And then do you want to have me continue, or do you want to continue from here with something?
So, well, we can go right into
Okay.
the Nadis and the Mudras. Yeah. So what you had in mind? I'm here. It's my birthday, by the way. So I am in the right place, doing the right thing. My whole MO, because I'm a Virgo, everything's in the mind. This is really, really good for me because I love learning. So this is a gift. My birthday.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And in this tradition also, the birthday is just a reminder that this life is fleeting. So it's not like, yes, we can do that. We can do yes and cake and the whole thing. But it's also a reminder of this is a fleeting lifetime. So the older we get, the more comfort we may be finding in that idea of reincarnation. So anyway, so I have that in me when I was a child. You know, even though I'm not Indian, I was brought up in Germany, but I know that all my life that I've been around before because I had, even as a child, memories. How can I remember? Like I remember like Hindu gods and goddesses. How can I know that?
Yeah,
Anyway, so
exactly. Yeah, you know so much.
oh, I don't know. So it's like I'm learning. I also have teachers, so I am also, you know, like you are also my guru. So is everybody who watches. And yes, so
Oh,
guru
sorry.
means teacher. So, and these are the teachings. So it's 72,000 nadis. Some of you heard the word meridian. Same idea. It's just a
Yes.
different word, and it's an approximate of 72,000. And we don't need to think too much about it. What is important is Charlotte Hill says, "Happy birthday, Tah." Happy
Thank you,
birthday,
Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte. We'll keep that there for just a little bit.
Tah
Love
gets
it.
more beautiful every year and more, you know, she gets deeper, she gets more clear and more radiant. It's amazing. And I know that's really what this is underlying. It's like it teaches us to be to open up all these channels. We call them lines. I think nadis means more like channels. So energy flows through there. They also shift and move. So yoga is interested in aligning them, making them all appropriate. So the main nadis we should all know as aspiring yogis, it's the Sushumna Nadi, the Ida, and the Pingala Nadi. So those are two nadis. They are the biggest and thickest and most important. So the Sushumna, I love that word, Sushumna, is in the very center of the spine. So starting on the very bottom of your spine, and then it goes through, you know, you cannot think of it as, oh, where the bone marrow is in the vertebra. So go deeper and you think, oh yeah, all these nerve strings, go deeper. And it's a thing you cannot see on an x-ray. So that's how subtle it is. In yoga, we look at that phenomenal of practice is mostly not even in our food body. We call that the, you know, the gross sheets or the food body. And then you have, you know, your pranic body and you have your bliss body. So there's 5 different layers. So that's one of those layers you couldn't see if you cut the body open. So there's that channel of light is very thick through the center of the spine, running all the way through the crown of the head. So that's why, for example, headstand is they call it the king of the yoga asanas, because it stimulates the end or beginning, you know, depends on how you like to look at it, here at the crown, where that, you know, that multifaceted 1,000-petal lotus chakra also resides. So that's the main one. And then here, that's very interesting, is Ida and Pingala. They are the sun, the solar, and the luna. And they don't run straight up like the Sushumna does. They wind around. So you've seen these paintings of of yogis sitting there, and then you have them intertwining on the bottom. I don't know if I have enough room here in my, no, I probably don't. But from the bottom, and then they go in across, wrap around the chakras, go across, wrap around the chakras, go across, wrap around the chakra. You know the chakras.
Yep.
And so you've seen that. So it goes around here, Ida and Pingala, and then around here. So that's why there's so much of the pranayama, left side, right side, and then goes together again here.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're also kind of like snakes. You see them as snakes. So it's like figure eight, above figure eight, above figure eight. So we try as yogis to neutralize them and harmonize them and balance them. So with pranayama, breathing through the left, breathing out the right, breathing into the right, we affect the solar and luna, because that, maybe some people are very fiery, very, a lot of on fire, very active. They may need to take the fire out. So that's how we can work with nadis, really. And then you can, that's already overwhelming, I think.
That's a lot of information.
That's a lot of information. And
yeah.
that's,
so let me just, in layman's terms, there's this shushuma that's pure, straight. And then to balance, because we are male, female, because we are yin and yang, sun and moon, there's all of this duality that we have on this planet Earth as physical beings, that you cannot just have a central connection connected to source. You have to have duality, and that's what this is. Got it.
I love it. It looks also very beautiful.
Male and female, yin and yang, and it goes all through. And so, that is so pretty. And then when we balance with yoga, we're sort of creating equanimity is a great word.
Yeah.
Equanimity. There. So I summed it up, and I have goosebumps because that was channeled. When we speak as teachers, we have all of our gurus next to us talking through us. So just trust in that. You have that too. Anyhow, so yeah. And I can feel it when I have goosebumps. It means I'm on point. Okay. And you too.
I like how you show your goosebumps, because you're making it like a, like a, it works. It works.
I'm tuned in. I'm receptive. And we can only get that receptivity when we are in balance. And that's what the equanimity is all about. That's what our practice is about.
And it's also the word hatha yoga. So it's, you pronounce it hatha in English because TH, but it's ha and ta, which is sun and moon. So basically the whole, it's not hatha yoga, that thing where you kind of hang out and poses really long. No, every yoga where you move vinyasa, call the style you want, call it up, even Kundalini, all these different styles of yoga, they are all under the umbrella term of hatha yoga. I love clarifying that, because it became a thing on schedule where it means like, hatha is the boring. It's like, no, not necessarily. I know we agreed on using that right now, but that's not what it is. And so I clarified that. Would you want me to go into hands? You asked me, I remember, about mudras and hands.
And the reason why is because a lot of my practice right now has to do with the vagus nerve and the neuro science behind it all. And so I'm fascinated with some of the history with the mudras, and I'm learning, because I'm learning too. I'm just trying to modernize our self-care techniques, because right now I'm using a lot of this sort of beautiful movements to soothe, and then the tapping on the meridian lines. So I want to bring in some of that yoga tradition and why and the meaning behind some of the touching of the mudras and stuff. So if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I think it's really beautiful. Yes. We all use hands, and I think, it's becoming more common in speakers also. I noticed that a lot of people will use this because we don't know what to do with our hands, So it's like because people start talking and then
Yeah.
they realize that's very aggressive, and also
Yeah.
you see it, you see on
Yeah.
the little phone, it's distracting. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
there's a lot of energy. So it's like, whoop. So they also learn that somewhere that it may, that, okay, keep it centered. But really what this is just coming from right here. So this is the mudra every yogini and every yogi in the house knows. You go to a yoga class, boom, hands come together. And it's not a greeting, not a version of how people greet each other in India and in Asia, but it's actually a mudra. So it means you are bringing instantly these opposite energies, these opposing sun moon energy together. Actually, take it a little further. I love this one because it's also representing the mother and the father, which are the first teachers for most people, unless your sister brought you up or somebody. So you bring these gurus together, the mother father energy, even if you have two moms, they still have the mother father energy, for example. And then you plug these to the heart. So that's a mudra right here. So actually it is more active when it touches the heart. Do you feel the difference?
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
right here, but it's like, whoa. And then here's something what I've been doing for many years is I'm bringing the knuckles of my thumbs to the skin on the chest bone and gently lift it up. So you're really in there. So you're bringing your own, the very, very lunar energy, which is reflective, intuitive, and the very solar, very fiery, piercing, focused energy. And you neutralize that. You center it and then bring it to the heart. So basically a good reminder before we, start speaking from some fired up place or from some very reflective, we bring it to the heart. So this is a mudra, Anjali mudra. We know that one. Anjali mudra is the mudra of the heart. So, and that's a really simple one. Then there is another one I see often used is like placing, I don't know, my camera is the opposite. I'm sorry. It's not like a mirror. It's the finger, the index finger and the thumb touch. And then you extend your arms out in a cross-legged position. So, yes. And that's the Gyan mudra. So that's the mudra of focus. So that's a very simple one, but it's like my camera is too small. So sit in a cross-legged position and have your hands basically resting
On your knees.
it's the opposite here. I'm sorry. I'm like, I have to go backwards and my hand goes forward. You get the point. Do you get the point?
Yes.
It's a cross-legged position with the hands resting
in this
position. Yes. So that's a very commonly used one. And that goes into my next, which I found important because there's many of these and they are very intricate, and you see them also in in a lot of Buddha pictures and I don't want to go too much into all that because there's a huge variety. So this one is grounding, it's focused. And I want to go more into why is there all that beautiful stuff? And you can play with that. I suggest you play with it before we go into the Sanskrit translation of what it means, because that's complicated. And basically that's next level. So first level is like the thumb represents, so these are all the 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? We have fire. So the thumb represents fire because the thumb is fire. It's like intelligence, right? That makes us so genius because we can hold on to things and manipulate. So that's fire. And then we have air here. And then we have ether. And this is earth, the ring finger. And this is water. So of course on both ends, it's the same on both ends. It's the same for everyone too. So so you can see it's like I put the fire on my which is something what we have here. It's our intelligence also, and I put that together. I'll link that to what's airy. So if I want to focus, I don't want to be all airy, like you said. You're Virgo, so that's an airy sign, isn't it? So this is a really good one. This is a really good one.
Yeah.
You can also put it with the earth, and that's so smart, Tah, what you just did. That's what I mean by play with it, because the true intelligence, like we all know from our yoga practice, is not from like watching and listening and looking at pictures. You have to do it, and then it starts to make sense. Yeah. So yes, I love that you put that together. So grounded is earth. I find it very interesting that in most places around the world, when people get married in that official kind of way, they put a ring on the earth, because it's
Finger.
very,
Yeah.
very grounding. It's like, I am, this is like grounding. It's like people wear a ring, a wedding band on that ring finger. So very interesting. And then this is water.
Yeah.
So water is good for, if people have too much fire, like indigestion, skin rashes, acne, like a lot of red fiery stuff happening. And what's that called? The big one is any kind of inflammation, really. So it's good to touch the put out. How do we put out the fire, right?
Yeah, I
With
love
a little
it. I love
water.
it. So say them again. Fire,
Fire, air,
ether,
ether,
earth,
earth,
and
and water.
water.
So the only hard ones to mix up easily are ether and air, So,
Air,
but
Here is middle finger.
that's the middle finger, yeah. Yeah. And mudras. So think about how powerful hand statements also are. Actually, talking about the middle finger. That's also it's a big thing, and it's very offensive, And it's so we get the idea of, hey, how strong are these things outwardly, and then instead of walking around doing that, because that's outwardly, we're starting to apply that inwardly. So when ether and air means, that's all mental faculties. For example, the mind functions like ether. It's very fast. It can go places with instantaneously. So it's good to bring these fingers together. You can also go to the root of it. So that makes it deeper. And how we go to the root of it doesn't matter which one you take. You go and curl. Like say I want to really get more grounded, so I curl my whole finger. Instead of just bringing the fingertips together, where these there's nadis that end here, but you're making it even deeper by curling the whole finger in. Take the ether finger and curl it in there. It depends if you have really long nails, then it's going to be a little harder. And then this one is really good for indigestion, also if there's too much fire. So how is too much fire and indigestion looking like? It's like loose digestion.
That's the earth finger. The earth finger for indigestion.
You place it all the way down on the earth.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm like, I have to go the opposite.
No, I got it. We got it. The earth finger, and you curl it all the way down.
And it's good to do them with both hands, both fingers. And it's grounding. And it's grounded to just keep holding it. So if you're a nervous type and you think like, I love all this, and then you're running around and you're feeling like, oh, this is great stuff, and I want to try it out, and you just keep doing this, like, wow, I wonder what that is not going to work.
Why? Because you're too distracted.
You're doing like oh my God, I'm gonna do like a whole bunch, and right. Let's see how that feels like. You just kind of keep to one for some time.
Right. At least a minute or two.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
I love it.
That's an important. So if you can remember that, and then everything else kind of adds to that, and you can use it more. It's a subtle practice. So in the beginning of it, don't worry about it, because you're not in that subtle place yet.
So as recap, the difference between the tip of the finger and the knuckle, because that's really significant. Can you describe that again? So the tip of the finger.
There's actually so much to it. I don't know if I can go that deep really today. So yes. So
what you just said, you just taught it to us, and I missed it. So just repeat that. So the finger, difference between the finger
and the basic is the tips. So it's not like this. Actually, I'm not touching it like this. It's the tip.
Okay.
Okay. So we started with the Gyan Mudra. It's like like an all right. It's not just bringing them together. You want to get the very tip.
Yep. Okay.
That's it. And that's the focus. That's the how we start class. It's first we do Om. We have this mudra, and then the second, if you do some breathing, or if you take people through more, they place their hands like this with the palms up on their thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or knees.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's important. So those are the endings of these more finer
Yeah, I
Not
tend to go nerdy, so bear with me if you're watching the replay or you're with me. I love it, and I'm experiential. I can really sense the focus on the tip, and now comparing it to what you were talking about with the curling in. Now, what?
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah, and then what is this representing again? Remind us why the curl and the significant difference between that.
So the mudra becomes more of a mudras is translated in two different things. Some people say, oh, it's hand gestures or gestures, and something I learned it means actually seal or sealing something. So the seal is deeper. You're pressing harder. So
Yeah.
you know how we do that in acupressure or something. It's just a harder press. So it actually activates inwardly these nadis to do more. To you know how you have pressure points. You heard of. Ooh, I press here, something else react. So, and that's what happens. It begins to spread into a complete system of the Nadi system of the body.
I'm feeling it a bit. I am feeling that a bit. It's a bit more intense, and it feels like it's next level. It feels like I will need to spend more time if I do it this way. Like this is like instant, almost like la 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 focus, and then this is like.
No, actually, I'm sorry, I have to correct you. It's not across. It's actually you're trying to line it up a little bit. So you're not going across. I'm sorry, but I have this weird opposite camera thing, which is hard. But
Okay,
it's
so
lining it up more. So you're lining it up. You're lining it up. You're trying to get the thumb more like upright instead of sideways. So that's sideways.
Oh
but you want to have it more like upright.
Okay.
Yeah. No. On the top. So this is the front of my index finger. Oh gosh, this is the backwards thing. It's just driving me nuts here. Bear with me. And then the thumb goes up against better. That's it. So turn your thumb so it's covering the top of your finger.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, and then cover, so it's not going across because it's actually, that wouldn't be a good movement for the thumb. It kind of throws your thumb out. No, you're going on top. You still don't have it. That's it. And then you curl it up. Like, I don't know, because I'm okay. When I go this way, it's like my camera does the opposite. So that's why I'm struggling here. So that's the top of my index finger. And I'm not going across. No, I'm going, I put it here and then I go along on it. So I'm trying to get my thumb to actually climb up here.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. I know what's
doesn't want to do it. Yeah. But that it's better. And it's much easier if you take another finger. For example, this one, try your ring finger. You see, try your ring finger.
Okay.
Like how I can easily cover it. So I'm not going across. I'm going along with it.
All right.
Get your ring finger, the earth finger. Do your earth finger. Okay. Yes, and there you will notice. That's what she's talking about. You want to go and put the thumb on top of these like lowest knuckles.
Yes, I got it now.
And now it seems to fit much better, right? It's like, oh, I can do that. Yeah. So you need to work on it a little bit. For you, it's like almost hard.
It's so hard. My fingers don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're probably very strong. You have a strong thumb, and fire.
That made me feel like wow. I got a hit of like not good enough.
Wow.
How weird is that? So, but you know what? I have an injury on this thumb.
So that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it all just let it go. All right, continue. Sorry.
So what else shall we talk about?
I loved the meaning of each of those. That was very profound. What I have used often, and I do in my meditations, sa ta na ma. I do that, when I'm walking sometimes. Sa ta na ma, where I'm connecting each of those fingers. I love that.
Yeah. So Satnam means I am truth. Truth I am. So that's from the Kundalini tradition. So they have a lot of movement. They do a lot of movement. Yeah.
A lot of movement with their fingers. Yeah.
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 So
Just
that's
to
nice. So you have mudra also when you do your, alternate nostril breathing, and there's different schools of yoga. Some do, like, this is called Vishnu mudra, and you use your fingers to block the nose. And so those are all called mudras. And you can see also, especially in Indian dance, they use them. So if you are curious of how much there is, they're endless, and just tune into some Kathak or Kathakali dance or Hindustani classical Indian dance. You can just type that in and go to YouTube, and they retell the story. The classical Indian dances, they retell these stories from the Ramayana and from these thousands of year old stories, which made it into the Bhagavad Gita. Everybody knows Krishna, right? God of love. And so they enact these stories. And then, the flute playing, it all, even the tilting of the head, but there's a lot of hand, mudras, like where, things extend from the heart. This is one, it's like a learning. This is learning, because it's like, here's what we learn, and this is how we receive what's learned. I'm sorry, I'm like, this camera is driving me nuts. Nothing is centered, because I have to go that.
That's okay.
So in the center of your heart, and you're bringing, so that's like the mudra of learning. So this is the same than this. It's still the same mudra of learning. So the wisdom comes in, and I am a container for the wisdom. The wisdom is here, and then you can turn that around, and you see them how, like, it's like there's like a giving mudra. So we continue with that. Now it's not a focus anymore. We have the wisdom, and it's coming from the heart, and we offer that. It's coming from the heart, and we offer that. So if you do any kind of offering, what I find very profound is also that we don't use the index finger whatsoever to point out a finger and say, you blah, 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 because there's a lot of air. So there's a lot of energy actually coming out of that finger, and it feels injurious for a lot of people. So we to take the index finger out, because it also represents the ego. So there's another system where, the fingers are planetary energies, and then that will be the sun, because it's more of a, very strong energy in that index finger. How we use that stronger than other fingers. So,
right. And I remember when we were doing our ceremony in the yoga teacher training, and we offered the rice, and we used not the index finger.
Yeah, that's right.
Offered without the index finger. It's much more gentle and sweet.
You take the ego out. You take the interest of the ego to the side. So anything like a worship, it cannot be done with the ego. It's from the heart.
Yeah.
It's
so you get
the heart. It's from the heart.
Yeah. Got it. Oh, I love that. That's
this is for all the bhakti yogis, for everybody who wants to do bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. That then you have, you increase whatever comes from your heart. Also, anybody who is familiar with japa meditation, which is when we have these malas and we move one beat, so you have 108 beats, and you use, actually, I'm going to show that real quick.
Yes, please show us your mala.
That's another way of thinking about mudra, and how it soothes the systems of these 72,000 nadis, directing them into like a slower, more subtle place. So this is the beginning of the end, however you're going to look at it. This is also called the guru. Interesting, huh? Like where your mala has like there's obviously 108. So, and you bring it over your ring finger, which is grounding. Remember, it's the earth, and the thumb, which has the fire of repeating your mantra, and you sit there, and you also other traditions do that. Quran, they have malas, and the Buddhists have malas.
I'm feeling this tradition very strongly. I thank you for sharing this. So really talk somebody, because I know that there's a lot of viewers who may have a mala at home, and they think it's all fancy and fashion, but this is a 1,000-year-old tradition, and this is how you hold your mala, and this is how you pray. So just share that again, the hand placement, so that anybody
you use your right hand. Yeah, you use your right hand, not the left hand, unless you don't have a right hand. Then of course you use left hand. And then if you want to string it over your earth finger, remember which one that is? The ring finger is the earth finger, and the thumb. So these two fingers, ether and earth, they are not involved in this. And then nice is some people relax the arms down. I hold, when I do this, my hand up to my heart. So I hold it up and then I move. So my mind is also more active. My body is more active. So it's in itself soothing that I have an action, but I'm not running all over. I'm not doing a lot. I'm doing only, I move. I'm thinking, you know, let's say Om Namah Shivaya. So it's a mantra for Shiva. And then when I've finished it, I move my beat one time. So that slow movement of the thumb, the fire, it keeps the fire, you know, internal and inwards. And then I'm, you know, each time I in my mind repeat it, I move the beat. No, and this is very powerful because it does move slowly over your channels and it wakes up these subtle channels.
Yeah, I'm feeling people really getting this and how important it is at this time to have a practice, and of how there's confusion at what do I do to practice? How can I get myself centered? What is a way to focus? This is a beautiful way, especially if you have that mala that you're just using for fashion. Use it for your focus and use it for your spirituality. You will just all of a sudden find that higher frequency, and your body and your mind and your spirit will just love you. I feel it. I just feel it. What a great message. Thank you. Really cool.
I feel like, oh, I want to, you know, happy birthday, have my mala, but you know.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, that's a great way to end. That's a great way to end, because we've already been chatting for 36 minutes, so this is good. I love you. You are amazing. You are amazing. You have so much knowledge. I'm just
Thank you. I like sharing it. I'm always happy that I get to share it. So take it somewhere precious. You know, all of this knowledge is it's very precious.
Great. So let everybody know how they can get a hold of you, and if they want to work with you. What do you do? Yeah. What do you offer?
With my name, you can probably find my website, just Arati Lane at yoga.com. So there's a website I counsel with Ayurveda, the science of longevity or life, and then yoga therapy, which is like yoga but super customized. And my main interest to get people out of pain and out of basically some given shortcomings, you know, whatever we're born with, or, you know, also temperamental assistance, and, you know, any kind of mental, emotional assistance. So there's a lot to it. So I can help people getting out of all those. And that's what I do. And right now I'm actually seeing people on Zoom, and it totally works. So I'm opening up, like Tah is, you know, to go online and also be available, not just in where I can reach with my car and my body. I can now also be available all over the world. So.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. And I will put your links down below, the website, and also, yeah, you know, just private message is awesome too. Arti's on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, just her name. Not very common name. So
well, Arati is not common here, and in the combination is not common, but Arati is it's more common in India. So I got it. Like I mentioned before, I got initiated a long time ago, but it's, yeah, with that combination with Lane, you'll find me.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Well, I appreciate this. What a beautiful birthday present for me. I get to learn all these things over and over again, because, you know, sometimes they go in and then they go out. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, I did. But no, I don't. No, it's different every time, because I'm in a different, you know, place, that when I hear the knowledge again, it resonates different. Like I knew about the mala and all the hand, but for some reason today it just settled into my being that this is something that we need. Yeah. So thank you.
But now I can wear it.
Yeah. All right. Love you. Namaste. Have a great day.
Namaste.
Bye.